Well, hello, and how are you doing this evening? I hope that wherever you are watching this, that you're doing well. I'm tired. I'm not going to lie. I'm very tired. I had a relatively sleepless night. Terrible heartburn last night, so I was up every 2 hours. It was not pleasant, but that's okay. These things happen. And I am doing much better today, although not much better now, I should say, but I am a little bit tired. And the pressure system change, along with the abundance of pollen in the air, is really affecting my allergies. You might be able to hear it a little bit in my voice. I'm a little hoarse at the moment. HOARSE, not a tiny four-legged. Anyway, that was supposed to be funny. A little H2O helps soothe the throat. So, yeah, not 100% today, but that's okay. It happens. We all have those days when, even if we're not feeling our best, we still try and do our best. Although some days it is more difficult than others. I have had a few Monday evenings in the last month or so where I have not had the strength or emotional energy to be able to do this a couple of times. And I regret that. I want to be able to be here for you every Monday evening, but sometimes your body and brain just won't allow you to do it. And those are the times when you just need to push away from the desk and help heal yourself in whatever manner you see fit. I can't tell you what that is, of course, because we're all different, and everybody has a different way of doing things. Some folks like to meditate. Some like to have a drink. Some like to use cannabis. Some like to go to therapy. Some like to go to the gym. I find walking the dog and working out helps, but when you don't have the emotional energy, sometimes just the walk of the dog is all I'm capable of, which is, fine. I'm still getting some exercise and some fresh air, and taking your dog for a walk is incredibly therapeutic for both your emotional and physical health. I don't know what else to tell you about that. I hadn't had a dog for a few years, so this new adventure I'm on is, it's just that new, and it's been very therapeutic in helping me with my anxiety and my depression. It's mostly kept at bay because I get nothing but joy from spending time with the doggo, even when she can be a bit of a handful, and Lola can be a handful at times. And, the animal therapy is a real thing. It's very effective. It does work. And I've experienced it firsthand. I never doubted it, but I also didn't think I was capable of owning a dog. And I mean that because, the commitment, it's a commitment. It really is. And I'm happy to do it. I never thought I'd find myself saying that, but here I am. I look forward to taking her out in the morning when she wakes me up at 5:30. I usually take her out at 6 for about 30 minutes and then get started on the show. But it's been incredibly therapeutic. I can't tell you to get yourself a pet, but if you're in a position to at least spend time with one, it might help lift your spirits a little bit, because all they do is love you. And that, I think, is That I think is the thing that makes the most sense of it all. I don't know. Try not to be too philosophical here. I'm definitely not a philosopher. But the unconditional love you get from a dog. They just love you. They just want to be with you. They just want to spend time with you. And it really does help lift your own spirits. Of course, the downside of it is when you are like me and suffer from allergies, having to take her out frequently can play into your allergic reaction to all the pollen that's in the air. So you might find yourself after a nice long walk with the pooch, get snuggling up with her on the couch, that you need to load up on the antihistamines because your eyes are itchy and your throat is itchy and you may have labored breathing or a terrible sinus headache, something I experience far too often. But that is the load I must bear, and I'm okay with it. There are people who have much worse things happening to them than I do, so really, take an antihistamine to make my life a little bit better. Usually fall asleep quite early as a result, but you know how that goes. So I hope everyone is doing as well as they can be this evening. It was a very cold day in Canada's capital. I think it went up to about 12 or 14, but it was very damp and overcast for most of the day. It didn't rain, but it was a chilly morning. It was very cold this morning. I had to take the dog out a few times today. The last time I took her out was around 6:30, I think, and it was considerably warmer at that point. But this morning was very cold, and it's throwing me because it was on the weekend. It was, I think, Sunday, yesterday. It hit 28 degrees here with the humidity, the humidex. So what's that in Fahrenheit? I can't remember. Double it and add 30, and you're pretty darn close. So what's that? About 85, 86 degrees, something like that in that neighborhood, with the humidity. Which when I woke up this morning, it was 6 degrees. So it's a very large drop. And everybody I've been speaking to lately has both been, my colleagues and friends, how we're all affected by the weather to some degree or another. I feel it both emotionally and physically. I say emotionally because, if it's gray and overcast and cold, it brings my spirits down. And physically, if the pressure system changes, I feel it right here in the sinuses. And I've talked to a lot of colleagues who are, suffering through the same thing right now, along with the allergies. So it's supposed to be a great time of the year, springtime. But in all honesty, just get me to summer, man. Just get me to summer, because it's less than stellar at this time of the year. Also, there's all the wonderful smells you get in springtime, as the folks who decided not to clean up after their dogs throughout the winter have left things to come for the spring. And yeah, now this winter in Canada's capital was a little different because we didn't get a lot of snow. Ski season was very short. If you owned a snow machine or liked the snowshoe, it was not an ideal season for it. But that's okay. I think it was El Nino that did it to it this year, and maybe next year we'll have a better winter season. At least I certainly hope so. I love to ski, and it does so much for me emotionally and physically, and it's hard work. And yes, Mohan, vitamin D does wonders. That is correct. Too much vitamin D is a bad thing, though, right? We don't want skin cancer. You get vitamin D from the sun, by the way. And from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, I am told that 15 minutes of exposure, at preferably in the morning or later in the evening, and it can be anywhere in your body, your arm, leg, your face, your neck, 15 minutes of sun exposure, either in the morning or in the evening. Not the best time to do it at noon, because that's when the sun is the highest and hottest, and that's when you get a burn. But in the morning or the evening, 15 minutes of exposure, and boom, there you go. And like you say, it's free. Yeah, Mohan, it's free. Go outside, get your vitamin D. Bridget hates it when I say vitamin. I think it's kind of funny. So, I find myself in a strange place. Not a bad place, just a strange place. The weather's off, my allergies are kicking my butt. The playoffs are on, and I'm not that invested in them. I was at the very beginning, but currently I'm less so invested. I think it's because the teams that are winning for Canada, Vancouver and Edmonton, their games start at 10 o'clock at night. And you need a cable package because they're not on the CBC unless it's a Saturday night game, and that would usually be a Leafs game. So I can get free feeds, but I don't feel like jumping through the hoops to do it. You make it more difficult for me to watch, and you want to charge me a premium to do it. Well, I'm just not going to. Simple as that. I can go to the pub and watch it if I want to. Which, I mean, the game would be free, but the pints wouldn't be, so I'll stay home and stream something else. Time of the year. Although I do hope to see Vancouver and Edmonton make it to round two. It doesn't look like Toronto or Winnipeg will. They look like they're both on their way out. Time will tell. We shall see very, very soon. But in the meantime, I will enjoy the hockey that we do have. And the NBA playoffs have begun, so there's some basketball that's heating up too. Again, difficult for me to watch the games because I don't have a cable package, so if it's on regular television, great. If not, I can look for a free stream somewhere, and if I have to jump through hoops, I'm not going to be bothered. I just can't. I don't have the time to invest in that. I'm too busy with all the other projects that I have, plus my day job, and then the doggo, and then I have to make time for Bridget as well. So it's like, carving out time for these sporting events is kind of like, meh. I really can't be bothered. If I can get to go to a game in person, sure. Ottawa's not in, and the Ottawa PWHL team, I'm not sure if they're going to make it or not, so we'll see. Maybe I can attend a PWHL playoff game. I was able to go to my first game last Wednesday with Super Kyle. We had a really good time too. It was a good time, good game. We had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And I'm hoping to be able to get to another game this season, if they make the playoffs, that is. If not, there's always next season. But yeah, the allergies and the weather are really affecting my moods lately, and I'm trying to be as upbeat about it as possible. And admittedly, having the dog to take out for walks on a regular basis really does lift my spirits. It's so much more therapeutic than I ever thought it could be. I don't know how to really describe it other than it just is. I mean, that's as simple as it is. Lola, and whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. So she's a lovely handful at times. A lovely girl, and a lovely handful, especially when she sees a squirrel or a bunny rabbit. She's very chill these days. It's been 2 months tomorrow that we've had her, and she's really come along, a great deal in just a 2-month period. I think I didn't know how she was going to adapt. I mean, she's been surrendered twice to a shelter, and her last stint, she was there for 4 months. So there's got to be some trauma there. And somebody said, "Oh, docs don't remember." I'm like, no, they do. Don't kid yourself. If there's anything traumatic to anybody, person or animal, they will remember it and react differently. But now Lola has her forever home. And the sweetheart I will take care of for the rest of her life. Somebody said something to me, or did I read? I read it somewhere, I think. Yes. They said, what if dogs look at us like we're immortal giants? Because we live so much longer than they do, and we age so much slower than they do, and we're also, compared to them, giants. And all we do is just take care of them. So dogs love us back unconditionally. Yeah. It really does lift my spirits to take her out for a walk and just cuddle with her. She's a character, of course, but yeah. Dogs, brah. Dogs. So I had Had most of my family over yesterday. They helped me. My brother-in-law, he has a big truck, and my dad had built a bar in 1977 when we lived in Gander, Newfoundland. And yeah, a while back, he says, "Do you want the bar?" I said, "Yeah, but he's like, "Take it whenever you want." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I had to relocate the studio from the old place to this new place where it is, and then I had to move a bunch of stuff out, fix a few things, patch some stuff, mount a TV, put up some wallpaper, little things like that, make arrangements. And yesterday, went to my folks' place, and my brother-in-law and my nephew helped me get the bar out of the basement, loaded it into my brother-in-law's truck, along with the bar stools and glasses, mugs, an ice bucket, an ice crusher, a few bottles of rum and screech. So, I'm outfitted for a while. A couple of bottles of scotch, some tequila. So the bar is now in, I guess you would call it my man cave. The bookcase that you see behind me right now is now directly across from the bar. I'm green screening this bookcase because I'm in the new studio. And I wanted to preserve the chill environment that we had when I started this show. So yeah, I now have a bar with a 55-inch TV behind it, with a background that looks similar to the day show, the early. Oh boy, I'm struggling. It's like a brick rock background, and I've got a couple of lights on the bar. Yeah, it's cool because it's a very 70s bar, and I might do a pubcast show from there someday in the near future, just for fun. We could do something. I think it would be hilarious, to be honest with you. But easy to set up because I don't have to go very far. But something I might do in the future. I haven't fully decided. So yeah, things are coming together here. Studio is about 98% done. I only have one or two tiny little things to add to it, and then it's finished. And it's been a long, slow process. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot of work and a lot of money, a lot of time, but it's almost complete. It's very, very close. Just like I said, one or two little things, and then it's all done. And that, I think, will help set my mind at ease because I won't have that, got to get that project finished, hanging over my head anymore. That adds to stress and anxiety, which none of us need. At least I certainly don't. I don't think any of you folks want that either. So, yeah, almost finished. So close. I'm right near the finish line. Just a few dollars more to spend on the finishing touches here and there, and yeah, then we're good to go. And that's kind of where things are standing right now. Whenever I start this show on a Monday evening, which is what I've been trying to do for the last, I think, year, maybe? I'm not even sure how long. I've been doing it for a while, but keeping it regular at a regular time slot has not been the whole project. It's, changed, and I decided I was going to start to really do this. And I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, sorry. There, just came back. I find oftentimes when I sit down to get behind the mic and talk to you wonderful folks and try and bring you some words of encouragement and talk about, anxiety and depression and how to cope. Sometimes I think I do better than others, but I find that even on days when I really am kind of struggling to get behind the mic and say something because I don't know what I'm about to say, I have no scripts, I have no points, this is all off the cuff. But some days I will just be struggling. And usually, like today, by the time I get partway through to most of the way through, because I usually like to give you 30 minutes, sometimes more if I'm up to it, I feel better. And I'm feeling much better from what I felt 21 minutes ago when I sat down to do this. it's therapeutic to openly discuss what you're feeling, and you might not always have the correct words, and you might not have a solution, but just bringing it out, getting it out of your head sometimes, at least for myself, is very therapeutic. It's like stress relieving. I always feel better afterwards. And I hope that works for you folks too. I mean, that's the reason I'm here, is to try and help you out. Oh, thank you, Cassie. I'm just trying to provide a soothing, relaxing spoken word voice for you. Spoken word? Well, what else would I call it? It is just spoken word, but it's not beat poetry, of course. I'm not a rapper, I'm not a singer, I'm not a musician. I'm just a guy with a microphone and some tech who was able to put something together during the pandemic and kind of stuck with it. And I'm getting better at it. I'm still not great. I don't think I ever will be, but I'm getting better at it. Practice makes better. It does not make perfect. Perfect would be boring, and perfect is the enemy of art, I think. Personally, that's me. I don't know. You may feel differently, but perfection is not something I ever want to strive for. I just want to be better. I want to do the best I can. And if I can provide some comfort to you, or some soothing words, or just a soothing tone to my voice to help you relax and maybe bring down the pressures that you felt during your day, well, that makes me feel good. And like I said, talking about what I'm going through, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, it really does help me. And yeah, a bunch of years ago, I was in a group therapy for insomnia. I had horrible insomnia, and it was really ruining my life. And it was, we have a doctor who's a sleep expert, but he also discussed anxiety and depression. And there was a young woman in the group who, the first day we met, she was in a state, and my heart broke for her. I thought, okay, I'm having a tough time, but this poor woman is really suffering. And it turns out she needs 12 hours of sleep. She can't, less than that, and she can barely function. So trying to work is difficult because 12 hours sleep, I work an 8-hour shift, and when do you have time to get anything done? And her life was falling apart. So she did a lot of therapy. We all did in the group, and talked about what we were feeling and going through. And it really was truly a revelatory experience for me, because for the first time ever, I felt comfortable being so emotionally vulnerable. I was fine with it in a group of people, and none of them I knew. I only met them the first time, on day one. It was 6 or 8 weeks, I think, and it helped me tremendously. I discovered I only need 6 hours sleep, and there's a formula that you use to determine what you need. This young lady needed 12. At the start of the course, she was in a desperate state. By the end of the course, she was a different human being. Her doctor, our doctor, a group therapy doctor, helped her with finding that she needed 12 hours sleep, number one, but how to create a better environment that she could live and function in modern society in. And I remember the final group therapy, it was just incredible. This young woman had just completely, it was night and day. It was a 180-degree turn. And for that, I was grateful. I was grateful to be witness to that. And of course, things turned around for me. I was able to start getting a better night's sleep. I try and get to bed at 11 o'clock every night and wake up at 5. I only need 6 hours. And I've been waking up at 5 for decades because the construction industry, right? But I used to go to bed a little bit earlier, and I'd wake up exhausted. Now if I get my 6 hours, I'm good. More than that, and I'm tired, which is strange, but I guess I go into a deeper REM or something like that. I don't know. It's the science of sleep, and there are a million things you can do. Now, lack of sleep will wreak havoc on your physical and emotional health, and it can be pretty bad. And I witnessed it in group therapy. Some people who were just horribly suffering. There's only 2 men in the group. It was all women, and I was surprised at that. I don't know if I should have been, but I was. I was surprised at that. And then after the first 2 sessions, I'm like, no, that makes perfect sense. Men are able to oftentimes shut our minds down. We're able to just not think. It's not always the case, but sometimes we can just go blank. Women don't do that. Your minds never stop. You never have like a peaceful moment, it seems. But please, don't be offended and correct me if I am wrong, but this was what I witnessed. And I've spoken to a lot of women about this who said, yeah, no, minds never stop. It's always going. Like, oh, that's got to be difficult, because how do you relax? Jump from one thing to the next. That can't be easy. So that's why I do something like this, to try and provide some soothing voice and some words of encouragement, and discuss things we can do to help each other out. Create a community of like-minded individuals that wants to make a better world for everyone, even the people we don't like. And here's why. If they can see the benefits of the better world, they might see the error of their ways. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because I don't get political on this show ever. So, I do want to say thank you to everybody for your time this evening. I really do appreciate each and every one of you for watching, for joining in the chat, for sharing the channel. I really do appreciate it. I am trying to grow it, of course. And the more subscribers, the better. Yeah, so thank you. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the emails and the notes. Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for spending time with me. I will see you again soon. I'm going to try and get some shorts done this week if I can. If my work week isn't too insane, I will try and get some shorts posted for you. So you take care. I'll see you again. Bye.